very good evening to our press community here today. So as you all know, we had a meeting of the state cabinet and many agendas were taken up today. The first one being the proposal for the amendment of the Meghalaya stamps in brackets payment of duty by means of e-stamping rules 2020. So this agenda was pertaining to as you all know, the e-stamping rules was, the Meghalaya stamps rules was notified by ERTS 5/2019/75 on the 16th of November 2020, and it was formally implemented on the 25th of November 2021. This e-stamping project was initially started in the East Khasi Hills district only, and that also was only with one counter in the DC office, which was operated by the Central Records Record Keeping Agency, or in short the CRA. And we have seen that the response has been very good, and it has shown a lot of positive response from the citizens in terms of the ease of doing their business, especially for high denomination non-judicial stamp papers. So based on this experience over this few years, we have decided and we have found it necessary to extend the implementation to other districts in the state like West Jaintia Hills, West Garo Hills and Ribhoi district, and also with the ultimate aim that we will be able to extend this to all the districts of our state. The CRA, that is the Central Record Keeping Agency, had suggested that the implementation of the project in other districts may be made through the appointment of authorized collection centers, which will be duly approved by the government. So this will increase the penetration of the services and make it more widespread, and also improve the ease of doing business, especially for other districts in the state. However, what was pointed out by the CRA was that the commission charge was very low. It was to the tune of 0.65% of the stamp duty collected, and the CRA had to, on top of it, share this with the ACC as a part of the said commission. And as the ACC has to provide the computer hardware, the consumables including manpower for the project as well, it was not found to be commercially viable for them to implement the project. So we've seen the examples being carried out in other states in the country, be it Karnataka, be it Assam, be it Tripura. If we look closer to home in the northeast, a nominal stationery or a service charge is being allowed to the ACC for the purpose of e-stamping. And what we have decided in our state is that for non-judicial stamp paper of denomination up to 1,000 rupees, a service charge would be levied of rupees 10, and for non-judicial stamp papers of denomination exceeding 1,000 rupees, a service charge would be levied to the tune of rupees 20. And further, to improve the ease of doing business, it was also considered necessary to provide direct access to the portal of the Central Record Keeping Agency for the citizens to make purchases of the non-judicial stamp paper. And for this purpose, we have also brought amendments, which I was speaking about. So there are two amendments, and basically the amendment is just a second. That any person may directly log into the designated portal of the CRA and directly pay the amount of e-stamp certificate not exceeding rupees 500. So So we have we were only extending it to rupees 100. Now we are extending it to rupees. So we are increasing it to rupees 500 in denomination after first registering in the system, and the CRA shall, after prompting the purchaser to verify the correctness of the entries in Form 4, provide a downloading facility to the e-stamp for the e-stamp certificate. So these are basically some of the amendments which are being brought to rule number 20 and rule 22, and also to rule number 25. Okay, so this was the first agenda which was taken up and discussed in the cabinet, and the cabinet has given its due approval, and this agenda was passed. The second agenda which was taken up was an amendment to the Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Amendment Ordinance of 2020. So this is an ordinance which is being brought to amend the Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Budget Management Act 2006. So this amendment is pursuant of a letter that we have received from the Government of India, the Ministry of Finance, which has allowed us to increase the annual borrowing ceiling. This has come from the Ministry of Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, wherein the government has allowed for us, the state government, to increase our borrowing limit by 0.5%, which would take it to, that means an additional borrowing space of 0.50% of GSDP, however linked to performance in the power sector. So this was discussed, and this also has been approved in the cabinet, and which basically will increase our annual limit to 4% of the GSDP during the fiscal year 2022 and 23. The next cabinet agenda which was taken up was the proposal for amendment of the Meghalaya Judicial Service Rules 2006 and the Meghalaya Higher Judicial Service Rules 2015. This has come up because there was a full court meeting of the Honorable High Court of Meghalaya dated 9th of May 2022, which resolved to amend Schedule B of the respective rules, and a copy of the letter by the Registrar General communicating the same has it reads that with regard to the Meghalaya Judicial Service, Schedule B to the rules shall be amended to introduce one compulsory paper, that is paper 4, on either Khasi or Garo language, and this paper shall be compulsory, for which a maximum mark shall be fixed, and unless a candidate secures the minimum marks fixed, he shall stand disqualified, and his performance in other papers shall not be evaluated. With regard to the Meghalaya Higher Judicial Service Rules 2015, similar provisions shall be included in Schedule B, making compulsory for the candidates to have knowledge of whether Khasi, Jaintia or Garo language, including a compulsory paper on Khasi, Garo and Garo for the written examination, and unless a candidate secures the minimum marks fixed, he shall stand disqualified, and his performance in other papers shall not be evaluated. So this matter was also discussed, and this is I think a very welcome step, considering that the state is also pushing for inclusion of Khasi and Garo in Schedule 8 of the Constitution of our country. Then the last agenda, formal agenda which was discussed, was the proposal for setting up of the Police Infrastructure Renovation Fund. We have realized over the past so many years that critical police infrastructure that needs immediate minor repair works, renovation, because of the process involved, have not received funding at the critical time, and therefore this had severely affected the service delivery of the police force. So in view of this, it was urgently felt necessary that there was a need for an immediate funding of minor repair works, renovation of police infrastructure. So the kind of works which would be taken up under this police infrastructure renovation fund would be urgent repairs of existing police stations, outposts, fire service stations, anti-dacoity camps, battalions, which need to be taken up in priority as may be decided by the district level committee, which would be basically headed by the deputy commissioner and would have the superintendent of police, the commandant of the battalions, the project director of the DRDA, and also one executive engineer of the DRDA. Other kind of works which could be taken up under this fund would be improvement in the police station outposts, like construction of toilets, drinking water facilities, waiting rooms, painting and electrical works, etc., which are deemed critical for the functioning of our police stations slash outposts, AD camps, etc., etc. As I had mentioned, this would entail an amount of rupees 50 lakhs, which would be placed at the disposal of the PIRF for each district to the committee headed by the Deputy Commissioner of such respective districts. And this was discussed, and this was also passed by the Cabinet. Apart from that, we also took up the matter of the speech on the occasion of independence, and all of us have gone through the speech, and the Cabinet has also given its approval to the speech to be read out during Independence Day. So that is all for today's Cabinet meeting. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So this 50 lakhs earmark is for each district or only
Yes,
for the whole?
for each district. Each district will be, what is it called? Police Infrastructure Renovation Fund. Each district will be given a tune of 50 lakhs.
Sir, how many police stations will be taken up under this initiative, sir?
So this will be placed at the disposal of the districts under the Deputy Commissioner who will be heading that. This is, as as I was mentioning, there are some kind of critical renovation work that needs to be taken up immediately, and for that, because of the fact that the process takes time, so many of these critical works cannot be done in time. So it will be on a need basis. Wherever the district decides, the PC, the SP, the battalion commandants, the fire stations, they decide that this is a critical work which needs immediate intervention and immediate work, the PIRF will be tapped into and will be utilized for that purpose.
Can you mention some police station where we can see for renovate?
I'm sorry, I would not know of immediately of any police stations, but see, renovation works keep coming up. It's an ongoing process. There's wear and tear. There's always certain kind of things which are required on an urgent basis. Maybe toilets which are in disrepair. So these need to be taken up immediately. So as I said, on a need basis, the Deputy Commissioner along with SPs and the commandants and other officers will take a call where it is essential and where it is urgently required.
So coming to the borrowing limits that the state has, 0.5 has been allowed by the government of India. So how much amount it will come in case if we take extra 0.5%?
So the additional borrowing limit enhancement to the tune of 0.5% of the GSTP. So I do not know how much it will be, but you'll have to make the calculation that it will be 0.5% additional of the GSTP.
But this will include in that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, please.
the overall limit that allows for the state is to 3%. I think they have increased to 4%.
Earlier it was 3.5.
3.5. So
Yes.
now I have increased to 4%. So will this 0.5 will be within this limit or will increase?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
I would say earlier it was 3.5%
Yes.
was allowed for the state of this for borrowing. So due to this COVID, the government of India has allowed the state to borrow up to 4%. So whether this 0.5% will be within this 4% limit or will be above this?
No. So our FRBM is very, very clear that regulates how much borrowing that the state can go up to. So if it clearly stipulates that we cannot exceed 4% of our GSTP. So that 0.5 is 3.5, which was earlier allowed or permitted to the government. With that additional 0.5 will become 4%. Okay, thank you so much.